tengo palabras. Y no tengo palabras para decir, porque no sé lo que estaba pensando. Él tenía sus razones para hacer lo que hizo. Y por favor, no lo juzgan.
He had his reasons. Please don't judge him.
I like to introduce myself. My name is
King.
Churro.
Hey y'all, it's your boy King Churro, and welcome to part 3. I promise this will be the last video. I want to continue on from this point. 19 kids. We're not going to get them back by making more videos. I want to address some more misinformation, but I also want to address that something sounds a little fishy. Something's missing. I also want to address the support system that Salvador Ramos might have had at home. Now, see, you saw the intro. That was his mom. She told us that he had his reasons to do what he wanted to do. How do you have a reason to shoot up 19 children? Innocent children. They had nothing to do with you or your life or nothing. But somehow you have a reason to shoot them up. You had a reason to shoot 2 teachers. And then she wants you not to judge him. How? How do you not judge somebody who did such a horrible act? And in my eyes, acted like a little bitch. And yes, I still stand by what I said. Salvador Ramos was a little bitch. Now let's go on and talk about how these Daniel Defense firearms are not cheap. The cheapest one I found on that website is slightly less than $2,000. I went onto TikTok and I found a guy on there. His videos explain a lot more of what I'm thinking. Check this out.
Let's go ahead and get started here. And so I saw the speech that Biden gave on I saw it on YouTube, and I noticed that of course, typical Biden, reading off the teleprompter and then having to look back at his notes after misspeaking and all that. It was this whole thing is just really weird. I mean, he was coming back from Asia, and they just happened to have a prepared statement in just a matter of in a matter of 3 hours. It was really, really fast. I mean, compared to like the shooting at Buffalo, New York, this whole thing was just really fast. So again, I might be overthinking or something, but I don't know. It's just, this whole thing is just really weird. The timing of this is really weird. Also that Joe mentioned that why do these things happen in the United States and not other countries? Oh, really, Joe? Well, let's take a look at other countries, shall we? The 2011 Norway attacks, the Beskin massacre, the Chengpeng school attack in China, the 2014 Kunming attack, the 2008 terror attacks in Mumbai, India, the Saga Mihara stabbings in Japan. Well, what do you know? It actually does happen in other countries. Some of those did involve the use of firearms, and some of those involve the use of knives and blunt objects and tools. And actually, yeah, it does happen in other countries, Joe. Come on, man. Spare me that shit, dude. And this whole deer with the Kevlar vest and rhetoric that he keeps spewing out. Come on, it's getting old, Joe. Come on, man. Seriously? Come on. Democrats just love to assume shit without hearing all the facts and all the evidence first. Kind of similar to how he labeled Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist without hearing all the facts first. So there's that. Okay, so this kid was in possession of 2 Daniel Defense rifles. On his birthday, he purchased a $2,000 Daniel Defense rifle with a 20-inch barrel length. What kind of 18-year-old buys a 20-inch barrel length of a rifle? especially at $2,000. My first AR carbine was $500 and it was fully completed by Palmetto State Armory. And I know some of you in the comments, Palmetto State Armory, yeah, make fun all you want, but at least I know how to run it. And it runs pretty good. So he bought a $2,000 rifle. He had a $650 duty optic on it, an EOTech. The kind of stuff that took me a while to realize that, man, I wish I had that kind of gear. So the question comes to mind, how on earth was he able to afford all that? Let's not forget, there was also magazines involved. He had a plate carrier vest, ammunition, yeah, all of that stuff. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that it was probably a credit card or a stolen credit card, possibly from his grandmother. I don't know, but and the credit card would have to have had at least a $5,000 limit on it. Now, I'm not going to give the exact details of my current credit limit, but I will say it did take me a while to actually get up to said amount, let's just say. And I'm talking years. So it turns out he actually used to work at a Wendy's. The minimum wage in Texas is actually around $7.25. And you also have to be 18 years or older to open a checking or a savings account. Some banks do require parental signatures, so there's also that too. So this kid bought around over $4,000 to $4,500 worth of gear, basically. He'd have to work around 620 hours, assuming he saves up every single penny. And you can't get these rifles at your local academy. You actually have to get this from the website. And these guns are actually made to order.
All right, so upon doing my little research on Daniel Defense, so yes, you can order them online, right? But it would have to go through the necessary background checks, and it would also have to go through the necessary federal, what are they called? Basically, it's going to have to go through the government anyway to get checked off, right? To get approved, right? So you have to do the background check. You got to go through this, what is it called? ATF. There'll be no way in hell this guy would have gotten this shit cleared. Let me just put it that way. All right, there's a bigger process than you lefties want to admit, or that you know. Daniel Defense is only online, and you have to go to a nearest Daniel Defense dealer. So it had to go through the process of purchasing it online, going through the necessary federal agencies, and then eventually getting to this actual dealer that's near you in order for you to receive your rifle.
Anyone can do the research even at 17, 18 years old. It's the internet. Yeah, there's a lot of information. But you really have to know what you're looking for. And even when you order that rifle, it does take some time to make its way to the local FFL. So again, that's a lot of high-end stuff for an 18-year-old. Something about all this just doesn't add up. I really, really hope that these kids did not fucking die so that an agenda could be fucking pushed. As a parent and a gun owner, damn right I have some questions.
Would he spend a lot of time in his room alone?
Yes.
Yeah, according to his mom, he kept himself. He isolated himself. He was a loner. Apparently he had one friend who was always concerned about him, because one day he walked up to his friend, or they met up somewhere, and he had slice marks all over his face. Apparently he took a knife to his face just for fun.
Sometimes he would go, I'd take him to work with me. Not all the time, but I would take him to work.
And it didn't seem like he went to school very often.
No, well, this past year he didn't go to school. He didn't graduate, but he didn't go to school.
He dropped out of school. He dropped out of high school. Now, we know a lot of people who have dropped out of high school that have become successful, right? But something tells me that the rest of this video, this interview with the grandfather, is just going to show that there's not much support system there, right? That's the reason why he dropped out of high school, or that's the reason why he was only working at Wendy's or something, you know what I mean? It sounds like Grandpa was a landscaper or some sort of blue-collar worker. So I can only assume that he didn't really lead his grandson in any sort of direction. Look, I have major respect for the viejos and viejas. All the older generation Hispanics that are in the United States who have, foregone the struggles and have raised their children and grandchildren. I have major respect for all y'all. All the old school Mexicans with that, hard work mindset. I have so much respect for y'all. Now we have kids in a generation where they need to have that guidance. They need even more guidance now than ever. Because then they end up doing shit like this.
Why?
I don't know. You tell them, and they think they know. Kids nowadays, they know everything.
Abuelo, kids have thought this for generations, bro. Decades, centuries, generations, kids thought they know everything. And the more time that passes with more technology, guess what? Us old guys, we know less. These young kids know more, right? But at the end of the day, going to high school, finishing school, that's all basic. There's no other. He just needed your guidance. Did
you notice that he was growing disturbed? Was he becoming upset? Was he any different?
He was very quiet. He was very quiet.
Everybody says he almost didn't talk very much.
No, he didn't talk very much.
Did he talk to you?
Oh, just when we go to work or here or there,
What kind of
very seldom.
What kind of things would you talk about?
No, we never did have a conversation. Just, I remember he would tell me sometimes. I remember when I was little, I would carry him, and he would tell me things like that.
Why didn't he live with his mother?
They had probably problems or something.
Now, I have read reports that his mother was addicted to drugs. So there was less of a support system at her house. In fact, this is her boyfriend.
Are you surprised at the events that turned out? Because you said he was a loner. Are you surprised by the actions of yesterday?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm really surprised.
What were your initial thoughts when you heard the news?
Man, that's bad, man. I'm shocked.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to think.
And so it was his birthday last Monday? Turned 18?
Yeah, on
the 16th.
On the 16th or something. Yeah, last week I think it was birthday.
I'm getting angry as I'm watching this. The journalist knows more about your grandson than you.
Yeah.
My wife took him to Applebee's to eat supper or dinner or whatever. It's a shame.
Did you know that he bought those weapons?
No. Like I said, I don't like weapons. I cannot be around weapons.
Because you have a record.
Yeah.
And it's illegal for you to actually be around.
Yeah, that's right. I cannot be around guys.
I don't know about you, but if it were me and my grandson or anybody in my family is living in my house that's under the age of 18 or even 18, and I have a record and I can't be around guns, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go inside that room and see if there's guns. Why? Because I'm not supposed to have them. If law enforcement comes into my house for whatever reason, because God knows there's reasons popping up everywhere you go now, they go into so-and-so's room and they find guns. Who's in trouble? I don't know. The legal resident who's living in that house?
I hate when I see all the news, all those people that get shot. I'm against all that. I say, why do they let these people buy guns and all that? Those stupid whatever they shoot.
And Rolando, when you heard about the shooting, what did you do? Did you even know that it was your grandson?
No, the neighbor called me. He told me she had been shot. And when I came over here, he told me that he had taken off on the...
And your grandson didn't have a driver's license, right?
No.
He didn't even know how to drive.
No.
What went through your mind when you heard?
I didn't say
your
nothing.
grandson?
It still hasn't sunk in yet, you believe me.
And so, did he ever talk about guns or weapons with you? Did he talk about being upset or angry?
No.
Saying it came out of the blue.
I mean, coming out of blue doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, if they would talk every day and they would talk about what's going on, you know, if he knew anything about his grandson, and then all of a sudden, oh, he has rifles, or he's shooting up the school. We weren't talking about this the other day. That would have been out of the blue. But clearly, this Salvador Ramos did not have a support system at home.
If you could have done anything differently, would you have done? I didn't know he had weapons or nothing, or this or that there. If I would have known, I would have reported him.
You would have reported your own grandson?
Yes. Because I'm against all that.
You would have reported him instead of, I don't know, being there for your grandson. You know? Provoke him into conversation. Provoke him into helping you understand his character, his personality. I don't know. I mean, giving him an outlet towards something. You're not going to graduate school? Fine. Let's help you do something else. Let's help you learn a trade. And then eventually you can get him his GED. Right? Instead of, hey, why don't you just go and be by yourself and go fascinate yourself about guns? I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's not a gun issue, guys. It's not a gun issue. It's a person issue. It's a personality issue. Right? It's a support system issue. Don't blame the guns. All right? Blame the people in his life. Fortunately, I had my dad in my life. Fortunately, I had a dad who was a gun enthusiast, who brought me out shooting at a young age and basically taught me how to respect a firearm, how dangerous they could be. I never once touched a rifle or a handgun while my dad was away, right? If my dad was at work and my friends were at the house, we never once looked at the rifles. We never once looked at the guns. And now, I'll admit, I only own one gun. And guess who gave it to me? My dad. And when I feel like I want to shoot somebody, this is me.
Every day you wake up, you got a decision to make. To go right or left, up or down, right or wrong. At the end of the day, you make the decision. Nobody forces you. So make the right decision. Make moves, set the goal. Stop making excuses, man. And if it look like a duck, walk like a duck, and sound like a duck, it's a duck. Stop guessing. Just do the right thing. You heard? You hear me? I love y'all. Stay positive. Love one another.
All right.
A message to all you anti-gun, liberal women out there. No matter what color you are, I don't care. But when you're young, and you're liberal, and you're anti-gun, you got all sorts of misinformation, but you've never picked up a rifle. This next video must make you embarrassed.